Hello, everyone. This is Abid here. I hope you're all doing great. Always exciting to have this session with the fellow Victorians. It's a month of February. Valentine's Day is coming up. So lots of love to all of you from Pictory team. And we also like to thank you for all the love that you're showing to us, the support which keeps us pumped up, work harder, and partner in your success. Okay, the business agenda for today's training session is to cover a few capabilities in more details. I have picked three topics for today. One is visual search. The second one is a scene duration. And the third one is scene settings. So let's dive into it. I'll just share my screen here. Okay. Now, in the last session, we have shown you scenarios around how you can start with text, land in the storyboard, and do some edits on the storyboard section. So in the visual search, specifically, I want to show you a few capabilities which can make your workflow more efficient. So for that, I will just start off with a script. I'll copy this into the script box. As you all know, Pictory is going to create scenes out of the text that I have on the script here. I click on proceed. I select one of the aspect ratios. And then it takes a few seconds to land on the storyboard. And then it creates scenes with visuals which are mapped for different sentences on the script. Yes, so what I want to show here is that Pictory has got these automatic visuals for you, but quite often you may not like the visuals or you want to add something which is more relevant. Some of the easy ways to do is just go onto this visuals tab here under the library. Even before you go and manually enter the search phrase and search, please note that Pictory fetches a bunch of visuals for you which it thinks are relevant for the video that you're creating. Now, the top ranked visual is added to the scene here, but the other images, which were obviously not ranked as one, but were on the top of the ranking, they're all here. So you can just quickly browse through this. And if you think any of this makes sense for the video that you're creating, you can just come and click them and that gets added to the video. So this way, you can avoid entering the search and then doing the manual search to get the right visual. The other thing is the capability here, which says search was similar. So if you like this visual and you want more visuals like this, where a group of people are talking about something on the business side, so again, rather than entering the search text, you can just click on the small icon over here. It says search similar. Just clicking on this. And now what the AI does is it goes and identifies what is there in that visual. For example, it is telling here that this visual has business development strategy, business people, and it fetch visuals which it thinks are close match to the visual that you liked. And as you see here, there are some really good results. And if I think that, hey, this visual looks really nice and I want to add it, just go and click it. So search similar is this icon over here, which you can leverage to expedite your visual selection and video creation process. The third thing, which I'm sure most of you are already using it, but it's worth emphasizing. Instead of even entering the phrases again here, you can click on any of these words. Pictory finds the keywords from the scene text that you have here, and then list it for you, and you can just go and click one of these, and then it's equivalent to you entering that phrase content creators and searching for visuals. Instead of doing that, you can just come and click it, and then you'll get the visuals out for you. So this is the third thing. And the fourth thing, which is super useful, I often use it when I create videos, is when you're browsing through all these millions of assets over here, if you think there are certain visuals which are really nice and you would like to use them, have them in your personal library so that you can keep often using them, the simplest way to do is just go and add them as favorites. So you have this little heart icon over here. Just go and click this, and then it gets added into the favorites. And so, and if you come to this favorites section, all those visuals that you have either used or you liked or you uploaded and you wanted them to be used multiple times in the videos, all of them come in this section, the favorites. So this makes it super useful. Now, you can obviously save a few minutes instead of searching through a vast library and then selecting the visuals. So these are the few things which are related to visuals, which can make your workflow more efficient. Topic number 2. I said that scene duration is a topic that I wanted to cover, and there is a reason for that. One is in the recent past, in the past 1 to 2 months, we have done a bunch of improvements on the scene duration part. So I would love to cover what those are. And the second thing is, whenever I closely review the interactions that we are having with our customers on various channels, whether it is Facebook community or on a help desk or the emails that you write to us, there's some questions which often come up around scene duration. So it's worth discussing that. And there are quite a few scenarios where it's useful to know how the scene duration works so that you can feel more empowered. So let's start with the basic scenario first. Now, when we landed on the storyboard, we started with script and we landed here. So this was a story. We didn't do any other changes on this video. We didn't add any voice. We didn't manually go and change any scene duration, nothing. We just entered script into Pictory and we landed into the storyboard. So here, if you see, every scene has a duration which is determined by Pictory. So this scene is for 12, this is for 7.5 seconds, and this scene is for 5 seconds. Now, what Pictory does is it determines the scene duration based on the amount of text which is there on each scene. So in simple words, the more the text on a scene, the longer the duration would be. If you look at this scene where I have a few words, the scene duration is only 5 seconds, whereas for other scenes, it's more than 10, 12 seconds. So that's the very basic part. And some of us create videos which don't have a voiceover. They're very simple videos with a nice soothing background music, with nice visuals and text. If that's what your requirement is, and if you're happy with the duration which Pictory determines for you, then there's no more changes that's required. You can just go and generate the video. However, there might be scenarios where you feel that, hey, this scene running for 12 seconds is a little longer. I want to reduce it down. So I just go here and say, I'm happy with about 8 seconds. By the way, you can change the scene duration in 2 ways. You can either click on this minus or plus button, but some of you have asked for ability to change the scene duration directly inside this box here. You can even do that instead of multiple clicks, which can sometimes be very annoying. So I just entered 8 seconds, and now this 8 seconds is maintained for my scene. So I repeat here, what happened is first Pictory determined the scene duration for me based on the text which is there on each scene. I reviewed it and I realized that, oh, okay, some of these scenes are having too long a text. I don't want them to be so long. I just want them to play for a few seconds. So I went and manually edited it. So this will be respected in your final video. Now, if I do a quick preview here, let me play this. Let's see if the scene duration is still maintained. So I'll just pause this for a few seconds and show you. If you see in the background here, the scene duration is still 7 seconds because I manually changed it from 12 to 7 seconds. And when I play the preview as well, the first scene played for 7 seconds. So this is a basic scenario of how the scene duration works. Now let's close this and step into more detailed scenarios, particularly when a voice is added. So I go to audio here. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I clicked on audio and I go to the voiceover tab and I select one of the AI voices, which is a very common scenario. All of us create videos which has AI voices into it. And let's now understand how the scene duration thing is behaving. So I go and apply this voice, Joanna female. I click on apply and the voiceover is applied to my project. Now let's observe. I apply the voiceover, and usually what we do is before we even generate the video, we try and preview it and have a look at whether the scene duration and everything looks okay. So now what I'm going to do is again click on preview, and I stay on scene number 1. Now I want to show you a difference which helps you understand how this entire thing works. So I'm clicking on preview. Now what's happening is Pictory is calling the voiceover and it's narrating the text for you on the scene. It takes a few seconds for this thing to happen. We'll see if there's any change in the scene duration. Okay. So I'm going to pause this just to show you something very interesting. You see in the background here, earlier my scene duration was 7 seconds, but now it got updated to 8.6 seconds. Now what it means is, in your video, whenever you have a voice, the voice is going to determine your scene duration. I hope this is simple. If you have a voice on any scene on your video, that is going to determine how long the video is going to be. But when you review this, if you think, okay, the voice looks fine, but I like this to play for a little bit more. So let's say instead of 8.6, I'd say that it has to run for 9 seconds. So just come and edit it. It's getting saved. My AI voice still is intact. Now I'm going and run the preview. Let's see what happens. I'm still on scene number 1. Let's keep observing how the scene duration is getting updated or not, or how is it behaving. So the scene preview is, or the video preview is playing here. Now, if you see in the background here, my scene duration of 9 seconds that I have set earlier is still intact. Now, this is an important thing which I wanted to share with you, that after you apply the AI voiceover the first time, the voiceover theme, the duration that comes from the voice, the narration is going to take precedence. But when you preview it, if you think that it is either a little too much or a little less, you can go and manually change the duration. And the next time when you run the preview with the same voiceover, your changes are going to be intact. That is the second scenario. Now, the third scenario is when we record our own voice or we add a voiceover file onto a video. So now let's look at that scenario. Some of us don't like AI voices, or we don't prefer it in certain scenarios. So what we can do is just go onto the scene here, and there's a little button which says record voiceover, and I'm going to record my voiceover to show you how this thing behaves. Just clicking on this, press to record. The recent months have seen the largest increase in new business applications in America in 2 decades as the pandemic has reinvigorated entrepreneurship. So this recording is for 10 seconds. Now I go and say apply. See here, my scene duration got changed to 10 something because my recording was for that duration. It was a little more than 10 seconds. So my scene duration automatically, the moment I recorded and applied my voice, it got updated to the duration which maps to my narration of the text on the scene. So this again emphasizes the fact that on a scene or in a video, if you have a voice, the voice duration is going to take the precedence. And as I showed you, you can of course manually change, and that will be respected from here on whenever you preview or create the video. On the same lines, often upload a voiceover and then apply it to the entire video. Pictory, as you know, does an auto syncing. So let me go here to my uploads, and then I have one of the voices that are recorded. Let's say this is a recording, and I wanted to, I just unapply this, and I go to my voiceover for the entire video, and I click on this, and I say, does your voice include intro and outro? Yes, I have an outro, so I say yes. It takes a few seconds to auto sync my voiceover with the text on the scene. Now let's see how the scene duration is going to behave. I'll just pause this. In fact, I'll let it play till the duration of the same. If you see here, my scene duration again, I'll the scene just before this played for 8 seconds, about 8 seconds. If I close this, you see here the scene duration again set as per the voice that got applied and auto synced. Now you know that you can always go and adjust your voiceover by moving this bars here. That's not the topic that I want to cover, so I'll not go into the details. I'll reserve it for another day when we can go details into auto syncing thing. But the point I want to drive here is whenever you're adding a voice, whether it's an AI voice, a recorded voice, or an MP3 that you got from a voiceover artist or from your customer, or you recorded it somewhere, you've auto synced it with Pictory, the scene duration is going to be determined by your voice. However, on top of it, if you want to do manual changes, you can very well do that. So this is what I wanted to cover about the scene duration. Now, yes, sorry, there's another scenario, which is again important for you all to know. Often what we do is on a scene, we add our own visual, meaning, let's say we have a small video footage which runs for about, let's say 10 seconds, 15 seconds, not the stock one, but the one that we shot or we got from our customers and we want to use it. So we go to my uploads, we upload a file over there. And let's say I'll pick one example. Let's again keep a tap on the scene duration. Okay, I'll try to change this just to make the difference very clear so that you all understand it with this example. So this scene, I have set it for 6 seconds, or let's imagine that it was 6 by default. Now, if I go and add a personal video clip, this video clip is for 8 seconds, and I'm applying this over here. If you see this, the scene duration got changed again to 8 seconds. That's another important thing that you have to know. There's a reason that we have done this. In fact, this was one of the great feedbacks that we got from some of you. Whenever we have our own visual and we want that to be added to a scene, typically our expectation is that the video plays for the entire duration. Now, earlier we used to respect the duration which was already over here, and then you had to do multiple clicks to bring it back to that duration which covers entire video. But now what we're doing is by default, because mostly the intent is that entire video clip has to be played, the moment you add a video clip, we automatically detect how much is the duration of the clip and then set the scene duration for you. So that's the other scenario. 4 scenarios in which how the scene duration is behaving. I hope this makes sense. And if you still think there are some questions to be covered or some scenarios where there's any confusion, please let us know. We'll try to address that in the subsequent training sessions. Now, the third topic I'm going to spend next 10 minutes on is around scene settings. This is over here, right on the scene. On the corner, you have this button settings. When you hover on it, you get a bunch of different options. Now, using these settings, you can do various different things which would help you for different video use cases. And one important requirement among them is often we our customers asking us, I want to hide the text on the scene. I have my voiceover, I have my visuals, I have my background music. That's great, and I don't want any text. So there's a very easy way to do it. You can just come and hide the text. There's a button here under visuals and text on scene settings. You just come here and turn this on. So you see in the background, the visual is gone. Sorry, the text is gone. And if I want to do this for all the scenes, all I need to do is just go there, apply this action. Let's say I want to bring it back here. I want to hide the text and I want to apply to all the scenes. So then if I go to all my scenes, you see that the scene text is hidden. So a very popular question. I thought that I'll make it clear. Then the other one that we see here is loop video. This again was a common ask, highly feature. As you all know, earlier what used to happen is when a scene plays, if the scene duration is more than the duration of the video clip in the background, the video clip is to get frozen. And it used to get a little tedious for you to select longer videos, so that that doesn't happen and your video looks nice. Now, based on feedback from you all, what we have done is we have added this capability loop video, which by default will be turned on. And what it means is the video clip would replay until the duration of the scene. So if the scene duration is for 10 seconds and your video was only for 5 seconds, after 5 seconds, the video is going to continue playing in loop so that it doesn't freeze at any point, and you don't have to come and select longer duration videos. There are instances where we have heard customers saying that, hey, is there an option for me to turn it off? I don't want the video to run in loop. You can very easily do it. Just turn this off and you can apply to all the scenes. So that's the second setting here. Visual zoom and pan. I touched upon this a little bit last time when I started with a script and a blog. Whenever you apply your own personal visual, let me show you how that works. So I go to my uploads and let me apply a image to the scene. So if you see here, I applied this visual and Pictory is adding frames around this visual. You see this black color border in the top and bottom. We do that because by default, our goal is to show the entire image on the scene. Nothing gets cut off because the visual that was created is of a certain size and the video size is something else. So there's a mismatch. For us to make sure that the entire visual is being shown, we show it like this. But if you think your visual is already of the same size as the video dimensions here and you're good to go, so you can just come and say visual zoom and pan. By the way, when I added my personal visual, this setting got turned off by default. So I'm going to turn it on. Now see what happens. So now the visual is spread across the entire scene. But on the other side, for me, some part of the text is getting cut off, but for you, it may not be the scene scenario. So this is how you can visually zoom and pan. So these are some of the settings on the visuals and text. Now, couple of things on voiceover part. There will be scenarios where we don't want the background music on a certain scene. One scenario where we have heard from some customers are that, hey, I have added a customer, let's say I have a bunch of customer testimonial videos. So this is a video where one of our customers is talking or giving some training. I add that to the visual scene, the scene here. And I want the voice to be very clearly heard and I don't want background music. I can just go and turn it off. I can just turn it off for this particular scene alone. So when I do the preview or generate the video, the music will in general play for the entire video except for the scene. And if you think that has to be done for all, you can do it here. Or the other way is you can just go and turn it off from the background music tab as well, right? So that's about the background music. The voiceover, so this is primarily for AI voiceover. So whenever you are applying an AI voice, then you want on a certain scenes, you still have the text, but you don't want the AI to read for you. You can just go and turn it off and then take a decision whether you have to do it for all the scenes or just for that single scene. That's about the scene settings. Most of it are straightforward. But I strongly believe, and this again is based on my own experience of creating videos, when we use these options in different combinations, they really make us feel empowered in creating videos for different kinds of scenarios. Now, the other thing on the settings, but not in this group here, is related to trimming the video. Let's go to a visual. Let's say this is a video clip. Okay, I'll pick something which is probably more clear to explain this. Now, there's a visual which is coming up here, and I don't want this to play for entire duration. I just go and click on this trim video button in the bottom. This is for 16 seconds. My goal is that, hey, I want this video to start from somewhere here and maybe end at the 14 seconds. So I can just do that and then say, fine. And when I do a preview of the scene, it's actually going to start from the location that I have selected. until the portion that selected that it should end. So that's the way that you can use. And this covers mostly the settings part. Because we have 5 more minutes, I think we can spend that in looking at some other on the audio side. If your goal is to reduce the background music volume, often what happens, especially when we have a voiceover, if the background music is too loud, the voiceover doesn't come out very clearly. So what we do is automatically, whenever you add a voice, so in this case, I added a voice, right? The background music is set to 10% by default. Earlier it was at 100%, but because Pictory saw that you have applied a voice, it's going to reduce the background music to 10%. But sometimes the music can be too loud or maybe too feeble. I was just trying a video before this session and I found that, hey, I was not able to hear the music enough. So I just went and increased it to 20%. Or if you sometimes think that, hey, it's still too louder, my voice is not heard, typically 5 to 7% works great. So you can add you can adjust the background music volume here. One other question and a requirement I often hear is around adjusting the volume of the AI voice. Now, the answer to that question is currently it is not there in the product, but we have it in the roadmap. So until then, what you can do is just try to adjust the background music volume so that your voice can be heard clearly. By the way, this favorites button that you have, which I showed you earlier on the visuals tab, is applicable even for audio. So all of those 15,000 tracks that we have in a music library, if you based on your experience manually searching and adding it to videos, if you have some favorites, you can always go and add them by just clicking on this heart icon again, and all of that would get listed under the favorites tab here. And that includes even to the voiceover. So this is what I primarily wanted to cover. Maybe I can just cover a little bit on the format here. And again, this is based on some of those questions and interactions I see with my customers. One is very often people say that, hey, my video is getting generated in 720p. Some of the platforms are not accepting my video. What should I do? Now, for all such changes, for all such requirements, please come to this tab here, the format tab, where you have a couple of options to select the video resolution, whether it's 720p or 180p. So, sorry, 1080p. You can just go and select this. And now when I generate my video, it's going to be in a high definition. That is one. Now, the other thing is optimizing this button. This sounds a little, what should I say, a little advanced. But what it does is, in simple words, when we generate videos, we try to compress that so that the file size is not too big. And it really helps all of us, because we want to share it with our customers, or we want to share it with someone for review, and we have that file which is very bulky. It gets tedious to share. So what we typically do is, without impacting a lot of the quality of the video, we try to compress it. So by default, this setting is turned off. But sometimes such compressed videos may not be accepted by the other platforms. Like, for example, you're taking out the output from Pictory and giving it as an input to Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, apps like that. Sometimes they will not work. So what you need to do is just come and turn on this button. So as you see here, it says that turning this on would reduce the file size, but increase the video generation time. So this setting, if you turn it on, the file size would be less, but because we are doing the compression, it takes that one extra step, and the video generation time can be a little more. In my personal experience, especially when I create videos which are about 15-20 minutes, this can get a little significant. It can be up to 20%, 30% more than what the normal video generation time is. So if for you, if the time is the key, you can just go and turn this off. And then the video size can be a little bulky, but the video generation can be faster. Aspect ratio is something which I have it for future. I think Vikram covered this quite a bit in the last session, but nevertheless, we'll repeat this when we talk later. I hope this was useful. We are recording the session, so we are going to share this with you all in the user group as well as with the email. And that's it for now then. If you need anything else, please write to us. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and lots of love from Team Pictory. Bye bye.